I used to think that a lot of bikepacking gear was a bit pointless. Just extra weight, extra faff, stuff you don't really need. So I've always aimed to keep things simple, not take unnecessary stuff. I've taken pride in keeping it stripped back. But over time, a few things have proved me wrong. Here are 5 pieces of bikepacking gear that I didn't used to believe in, but now I can't live without. Number 1 is this, a mountain bike shoe. And you're probably thinking, duh, that's pretty obvious. But for years I used to use road cycling cleats. I'd been using them all my life and I had road pedals on my bike, and for the most part I thought they were absolutely fine. If I did have to walk, I would end up walking a bit like a penguin, but I didn't envision spending lots of time off the bike. For me, I just wanted to go as fast as possible, and for me, using the road shoes was the best option for that. But over time I started to realise their failings. I spent a lot more time off-road, found it difficult to get in and out of the cleats and also to walk. When you're spending miles and miles doing hike-a-bike up a mountain, wearing those cleats is a recipe for disaster, which I found at my cost. I realised that the entire carbon sole on my first set of bikepacking shoes had completely shattered because I'd been walking on it so much, which it wasn't designed for. But these, however, have been a game changer. These are some mountain bike shoes with a recessed cleat. You do have to switch your pedals over to some mountain bike specific pedals, but I've done that now across all my bikes and I'll never look back. Because it's recessed and because you have these knobbly bits around the side on most of them, you can walk a lot more easily. They are still quite stiff, but miles better than any road shoes. The second piece of equipment I want to touch on is something that I've changed my mind on quite recently. A couple of years ago, I did a video about these. This is a portable electric pump. Specifically, this is one from ASMAX. It's a T30 portable electric pump. I did a video where I basically ran through the pros and cons of these and came to the conclusion that they were a bit of a gimmick and a little bit unnecessary, because you have to take a hand pump with you anyway, given that it's electronic, it might run out of battery or fail. So I thought, what's the point? If you're going to take a pump anyway, why do you need this? But I have changed my mind. I've been using one of these more and more. Specifically when I was doing the coast to coast in Scotland, I had the flu and I'd been doing a long day and I was so exhausted, and I had a puncture about 4 miles from where I was going to be staying, and I was so annoyed. But I had one of these in my bag and quickly realised how much better this is than pumping up a tyre by hand. The last thing you want to do when you're out in the wilderness, you're cold, tired, hungry, ill, whatever, is have to pump up a puncture by hand. It takes ages and it's pretty exhausting, let's be honest. So by having this in your bag, it basically gives you the option of driving when you should have been walking. It gives you that turbo boost, and it literally takes a few seconds versus several minutes if you're using a hand pump, and way less energy for me. Since I did that video, these pumps have got a lot better. This ASMAX one, for example, goes up to 120 PSI. It'll do 2 road tyres from flat to fully inflated at high pressure, or several mountain bike tyres if you're running them at a lower pressure, which is absolutely fine for what you need when you're bikepacking. You don't envision having several punctures in a row, and even if you do, this could handle it. You just need to set the pressure electronically using the plus or the minus and then press go. Simple as that. It pumps up your tyre and it takes literally a handful of seconds. Just while I'm on that, this is a really good option if you're going bikepacking abroad like I do. I take my bike on the plane a lot, and I found that I always take my track pump with me just to make it easier to pump up the tyres. But that's quite heavy. It can be over a kilo at least, some of these track pumps, which takes up a lot of luggage space and luggage weight if you're trying to do things below a certain luggage capacity. This though weighs the same as a mini pump. It's like 120 grams or so. That's super light. Stick that in your bag and it does the same job as the track pump without having all of that bulk. The third thing I just didn't think was necessary at all, but now I use all the time, is one of these. Specifically, this is a 2-litre bladder from Alpkit, and I store this in my frame bag. Now, if you wanted to carry 2 litres of water, that would be about 3 water bottles, which is a very inefficient use of space. This, however, takes up a lot less space and it is in one concise package. I just stick it in the frame bag and I'm good to go. I run the pipe through the hole in the frame bag and I have a little magnetic clip here which clips onto the bars, so I have easy access to it. Another benefit of these, similar to the electric pump, is that if you're going bikepacking abroad, this packs down completely flat, whereas several bottles do not, even if you empty them of water. So this is super efficient, compact, great for traveling abroad. So why didn't I used to like these? Firstly, I was worried that they'd break. I'd never really had an experience of them, but to me, storing a huge amount of water in effectively a plastic bag did fill me with a little bit of dread. If I had a problem on the trail and it found that it burst, that's a lot of water and my entire water supply down the toilet. But I've never had that issue. They are incredibly robust and a lot more tough than you think. I just never really saw the point of these. I'd been using water bottles perfectly fine for years, and they are absolutely fine. But when you're going off-road a lot, you do find that your water bottles tend to get covered in muck and grit, and that can lead to stomach problems or just making the water taste pretty horrible. Because this is in the frame bag though, you don't have that issue. Another reason why I hadn't used one for a long time is that I didn't actually own a frame bag on my bike for a very long time, which leads me to number 4. For most of my life, I just used panniers. I had a pannier rack on the back, stuck all my gear on there, maybe a front roll-up bag as well. But I never bothered with a frame bag. I just felt they were a little bit overkill and a little bit unnecessary. But when I first made the switch to the frame bags on my Sonda Frontier, I got a custom-made one from Outkit. It was a game changer for me. You can carry so much more stuff than if you just have your water bottles. In the past, I'd even resort to having a water bottle that was basically just a tool bottle where I'd put my spares and repairs, which is such an inefficient use of space. This is a huge section of the bike, and you can store loads of stuff in there, like the water. And because it's heavy, if you put it low down, you get a lower center of gravity. That's better for cornering. You don't have all the weight dancing about on the top. So if you haven't got a frame bag yet, I would go and get one custom made. You can buy some really nice off the peg ones, but the chances of them fitting perfectly to your bike is pretty slim, especially if you're on the larger side or a very small person with a very specific frame size. Instead, go and get one custom made. I can definitely recommend a company like Outkit for that. I'm not sponsored by them. I went out of my way to go and buy one with my own money, and I've been really impressed with it. It's got basically a lifetime warranty on it. I think it's 25 years. So you really can't go wrong with that, and mine's still working perfectly to this day. And finally, the 5th piece of gear that I can't live without now is a set of these. These are waterproof panniers from Old Man Mountain. They're the Ponderosa panniers. I've been using these panniers on a lot of my setups for many years, and now I use them pretty much exclusively. I am sponsored by Old Man Mountain, but they haven't asked me to do this video. I wanted to include this because it has been a game changer for me. For many years, I thought I'd be absolutely fine with just water resistant panniers because I wasn't going to go out on long rides in the pouring rain anyway. But when you go bikepacking somewhere like Scotland, even if it doesn't look like it's going to rain, you can find yourself caught short and get absolutely soaked. And I found on many occasions that even if I was prepared and I brought a dry bag with me, by the time I'd stuffed all my stuff in it, it was pretty much soaked, meaning I couldn't use it, and I was very uncomfortable then on a night if I was wearing wet clothes. But the worst thing by a mile is having my camera equipment in gear that's not waterproof. I've been very lucky for the last several years that I've been doing this YouTube channel, where I've never really had such torrential rain that my camera gear's got damaged. But fairly recently, before I made the switch to these, I was carrying a lens specific to this camera that I used just to capture the stars. It was a really wide aperture lens, and it got pretty soaked. I thought I'd rescued it, but when I got home I found that it completely fogged up, and there's basically condensation in the lens. It's pretty much ruined. I can't get it out. So now I always use waterproof bags, even if it's not going to rain. Having that peace of mind knowing that my gear is completely safe is invaluable. I've come to realise that bikepacking isn't about taking less, it's about taking the right pieces of equipment. A lot of this stuff might sound pretty obvious, but it has taken me years to actually arrive at this conclusion that I should start using these pieces of equipment. I'm pretty stubborn like that, and I'm sure there's still things that I'm wrong about, so let me know in the comments things that you swear by that I haven't mentioned. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.